dated a dismissive avoidant attachment style, or even just had a dismissive avoidant friend or family member in your life and wondered, how do I truly bridge this gap here and build intimacy with them in a relationship? Well, in today's video, we are going to talk about how to truly build emotional intimacy with an avoidant. And we're going to talk about 4 major things that you can do to move the needle in this particular area. So I want to start off by saying that your attempt here to build emotional intimacy, you don't want it to be a one-way thing, okay? You don't want this to be something where it's just about you trying all the time, not getting anything in response or in reciprocation. So as you're doing this, you can decide, you can sort of set a deadline up. How long do I want to really invest in trying to grow this relationship and this connection with this person? And if I don't see the type of reciprocity I'm looking for over time of trying this and really pouring into this person, then you may decide, okay, I'm going to sort of step away. So this can be like a vetting process. You're doing this, you're going to do these 4 things. And at the same time, you're going to vet to see like, what is the type of response? Is it something I'm looking for, in the standards of a relationship that I want to be in? Again, be it a friendship, family, or romantic relationship. So start this by looking at this part as a process. Okay, now here are the 4 things you can do. First thing that is absolutely massive is warmth and honesty. Dismissive avoidance, they don't seem like they take well to warmth. They don't seem like they care too much about warmth, but absolutely it is this repressed trait within the dismissive avoidant. So when somebody's really warm to them and really connecting to them, they definitely receive it, right? They definitely have it like land with them. They usually appreciate it. They may be quite stoic, right? And they may not show it on their faces per se, but it is something they're going to make them feel more comfortable around. And you'll generally see that they start to lower their guard when somebody's warm and honest. If they feel like they can trust somebody and count on them, warmth and honesty together are a really important combination. Now, as you see this, a lot of people generally think that, like, let's say you're an anxious attachment style listening to this, you're thinking, well, I'm warm and I don't see them become warm right away back. That's because the dismissive avoidant isn't going to move at your pace when it comes to emotional intimacy, right? It's much easier for some attachment styles over others to build that emotional closeness. So, it's not going to be that they move at your pace all of a sudden, but they're going to move at a more rapid pace than how they have been if they have warmth and honesty as some crucial and key ingredients in the connection. Okay, so that's a really important first piece. The second piece is that you want to learn to connect with this person where they are at. Okay, there are 4 pillars when it comes to relationships. One pillar is the emotional intimacy pillar. The second pillar is the physical intimacy pillar that also includes, by the way, like proximity and closeness and physical affection, not just sex and intimacy, but all of those things. Then there is the pillar of romantic connection. If we are in a romantic relationship with somebody, that's like sharing romantic things, validating words, doing romantic gestures, right? So we've got the romantic connection pillar, and then there's the intellectual connection pillar. If you pay close attention to dismissive avoidance, they tend to center their preferred method of connection around the intellectual connection pillar, because that's where they usually feel the safest and the most comfortable. And this really is like sharing about ideas, philosophies, having debates, talking about different facts or things you learned. And sometimes, dismissive avoidance will also connect through like hobbies with people, so they're kind of intellectually connecting because maybe they're sharing about, cool, a car hobby that they have, and they both love to fix cars and they talk about the cars they fix, right? So you're going to see that they prefer to connect there. And a lot of times for you to really be let in by a dismissive avoidant, they want to see that you are also capable of meeting them where they're at. So if you can give some like intellectual connection and talk about opinions or ideas or things like that, and then pair that with the warmth and honesty and start then, sharing more emotional things as well, you'll start to see that they feel connected in a way that feels safe and normal for them. So now you being warm and then moving towards more emotional connection actually feels like something that could be a fit. Okay, if we only ever try to connect emotionally and romantically, this person's going to be constantly asked to connect outside of their comfort zone, and it won't be as easy for them. Okay, now before I get to number 3 and 4, which are going to be really important, probably the most important, I do want to say, if you want help building emotional intimacy with an avoidant in a much greater amount of detail, we have a 14-day free trial happening. We do this literally twice a year at the Personal Development School. It's happening right now, and it's for Mental Health Month in May. So if you want to check out all of our courses, you can download the materials, the workbooks, but specifically one around like having a thriving relationship with a dismissive avoidant according to your attachment style. So you'd literally go into the dashboard and search like fearful avoidant and dismissive avoidant, and it'll talk about how to build a thriving relationship with those 2, or dismissive avoidant and anxious, or anxious and fearful avoidant, like whatever your attachment style pairing is. There's a course there that outlines all the steps to take at which stages of relationships, all the things that are important for both people in the relationship to really connect and heal. And again, those are available fully for free. We only do this twice a year, so you can check those out. I'll put the link down below. Now, point number 3 is that another huge part of creating emotional intimacy with an avoidant is you have to be able to consistently push their walls just a little bit. And I don't mean start off by doing that. I don't mean like start there. I mean, connect them intellectually, have that warmth and honesty in the relationship, and then do things that challenge them ever so slightly to step outside of their comfort zone. So, for example, if they are somebody who usually likes the routine, they like to just, go to the same place for dinner or always hang out at home, tell them your needs. Say, like, hey, I have a need to try things that are new sometimes. Here, we're going to do this instead, or let's check out this place. Don't do it too much, right? You want to make sure that you're still taking them into consideration and what feels comfortable and good for them. But you have to insert yourself and you have to have needs. There's this old saying that optimal growth occurs at the border between support and challenge. That is especially true for a dismissive avoidant when it comes to relationships. If you are only ever being supportive and you're never challenging them, nothing will change. So challenge looks like you sharing your needs, taking up space, inserting yourself in a healthy way in the relationship and speaking up. And believe it or not, you doing that will actually grow them and grow the relationship and allow there to be a more emotional intimacy. Because emotional intimacy and watching this video right now shouldn't be about how can you walk on eggshells to people please and then they like you. Emotional intimacy requires two people, two parties to come together to connect in a way that's meaningful and authentic for both. And that will require you to also take up space. And if that's something you're afraid to do, that is something you want to work on your core wounds around. We have so much work in PDS and even on this channel about reprogramming your subconscious mind. It's like the most major thing about all attachment styles. So knowing how to rewire your subconscious mind to make those changes, to get rid of those fears of being like disliked or not good enough or unloved, or seen as unworthy if you're not, people pleasing and showing up exactly the way somebody wants you to. That's something you want to work on so that you feel comfortable taking up space, comfortable having needs, and then you'll start to see real momentum begin to build. Number 4, acceptance. It is so important if you're going to date a dismissive avoidant or have a dismissive avoidant in your life that you are not a critical person of them. It doesn't mean you don't share what you need if they don't meet it, right? If it doesn't mean you pretend like everything's always okay. But if you are judgmental, gossiping, nagging, if you're constantly kind of like putting them down or throwing shots or passive aggressive comments, nothing will make a dismissive avoidant shut down more than that. It is like the biggest thing. And again, I keep saying this, but behind every criticism is a need. So if you find yourself nagging or criticizing, take a second, pluck out what the need is. Ask yourself, wait, what is the need I'm trying to move towards here? And then how can I communicate this in a positive way? So if you say to somebody, you don't care about me, you never spend enough time with me. Wait, what is my need here? Okay, my need is for more time together. What does that look like? How can I say that in a positive way? Hey, I want us to have a little more time together to be present. Let's plan a fun date night this weekend. Okay, so now you've shared it in a positive way instead of going down that old rabbit hole of speaking in the negative. And I can't even begin to share how important this is and how little this is talked about for how meaningful and how impactful it actually is in relationships. So these are 4 great places to start. I hope this makes sense. Again, if you want to go deeper into this, check out that free link down below to access some courses about attachment style pairings and how you can really thrive. And if you have questions, let me know in the comments. What are things that are working for you? What are things that are not working? I would love to hear from you. And I hope you also subscribe to this channel. I put out daily videos. I try to make sure there's always like a daily video available if you're ever going through something. So make sure you don't miss any. Please know that you can subscribe anytime. And let me know in the comments future content you want to see too, and I'll create it. Thanks for watching.